So now this is the next video on the QR kickstart seals. I've had this a while, but that's the casing off the new engine being painted with the new graphics. I'm going to put the kickstart seal in and turn it over and show how to rig the kickstart up properly, because there's little notches on here and that arrow has got to line with that arrow, and the kickstart shaft here has got to line up with this notch, so I'll show how to do that. But first I'll just lube this, and it's already lubed inside. You can see there's little blobs of grease all the way around, but I've avoid the outside, so I'll just push this on now. I'm going to put the gasket in, but I don't know if you can see on camera, at the back of the engine it's got the stopper what keeps the gasket in place and the casing in place, but there's not one on that side and there's not one underneath here, so it's in the old case and what was damaged, so I'll go and take that out and put it into here. I've got that out of the casing, just push it in and then we'll put the gasket on, push it over those two stoppers, and that keeps the gasket in place. And I've lubed all these parts up. What parts on here are going to slide into. Anyway, we'll rig the kickstart up now. What you see that arrow, and there's an arrow on that. You get that arrow, this can turn all the way. If you keep turning it, it puts this out of place. This is the right way to have it. It'll turn all the way around just further, but have it, where's the pointer at? So you have it, so the pointer's like that, so then both pointers are lining up. Then you've got a little notch on there, don't know if you can see it, just above my thumb. Get the kickstart shaft, and that's it there, it's the new one. The old one had that bit welded on onto here, which is making it lock. So the kickstart shaft just slides over, hooks into there, and then it's still hooked in there and over there. And then when you put it in, this spring, the top bit of that spring rests on the top of there. And it spins all the way around. And there's the notch there, so keep the spring pushed down, slide your kickstart shaft round, and that's how you have it. It's all level now, so that notch, if you can see it, runs level with this kickstart shaft. The kickstart shaft fits on the bottom of there. So now on this side we'll put the kickstart on. There's a notch there, if you can see, and there'll be a notch on the kickstart. I've painted it, but you might be able to see the notch. There's the kickstart, don't know which way it goes on, it goes on that way, so the notch should be, there it is there, so that notch there lines up with this little notch here. As we're pushing the kickstart on, keep that held on because it'll put off. So we'll rig that notch up to that notch, tighten it on, and I'll come back once it's tightened on. That's the kickstart on now with the two notches lined up. So the kickstart sits. I thought the kickstart sat up that way until I seen the notches. Anyway, all these bolts around here will go in a 28mm, and there's a sun plug, that arrow there on the casing. I found all the bolts, got to find out how that goes on. 4 cylinder bolts is in, there's one washer, there's one bolt with washer on, what goes into there. So we'll start putting these in. put the casing on and put them on in a crisscross pattern. Put this one in, this one in, this one in, this one in, this one in. Tighten them up all crisscross. Don't just tighten one in, then tighten the other, then the other, all the way around. It's not work like that. You've got to go on a crisscross. After it's not lit up properly, I can feel it. But I'll just turn the back wheel and it should turn everything and push it on. But it's best to do this. I know I showed in all my videos, but some people might not watch my videos. That's a 28mm. You put that through there. Make sure it goes through the gasket. That's the 28mm. Make sure that goes, you can see it there. Make sure that goes through the gasket. Sometimes the gasket drops. If you push this casing without putting the bolts in, if you see you just push that straight on and the gasket was there, when you push the gasket through, the gasket sometimes moves and you end up splitting your gasket, and if you split it down here you're gonna have oil leak. So just make sure your bolts go through the gasket. That's on the washer on. It goes in there. So this is a sump plug with the cut washer. That's the one with the arrow above, which you might just be able to see there. It goes into that one. That's all the bolts on. I'll have to take two off to put this on. But I'm just going to get the casing pulled on and nipped up. So if it doesn't nip up itself, just put the phone back in the holder. That's it, just fit it better than I thought. Just need to screw it on. So that's it, that goes on like that. You'll see it closer up in the video, so I'll not go closer. Now, I'm going to tighten the bolts in sequence like I said. That's all the nuts on, tightened up. So now I'm just going to put the engine into the frame. Put this part into that part first. And this part slides down. There's a big bolt goes through that side through this part of the frame. So that's that part on. The big hole there. That big hole slides down into where I've just put this on. Through the ends, a big bolt just goes through. There's the big bolt there. That's the bolt went into that part of the frame now. So I'll just push it in and get the two bolts in. Two bolts in, what go up here. So that's the engine into the frame at last. Took a while to get that bolt through. I've still got to put them two in at the front. And next, that's the fork legs ready to be painted. Now we're going to get the back plate on. If you look there, there's a line on it, a slit. There's a line there as well. There's a line here. That line fits up with that. And you've got that point on. That above me foam, I think it's a slit. What fits on. We've got the groove there. That's the little plate on. Just fill it up with that groove. That's it on. It's a way indicator plate. We've got this. And it goes that way. So just pull it around and put the bolt in. It goes that way. So that line is to line up with that line on the end of the notch. Right, so that's it lined up. I can see down there. Can't really see, but they're lined up anyway. So that's the back brake on. Gonna get the pads, the two springs, grease this up just on this side and this side, and grease this bottom part underneath what you can't see. It's just like a round roller sticking out what the clutch plates fit onto. Just make sure you get no grease on the pads itself, just on these surfaces where that moves. And I'm going to put the bolt in there as well. When I find out, it should be just laid about here. That's the back brake bolt, so I'll just put that in as well. And when this arm's rigged up with this, you can see how that line on that rigs up with that line on the casing. There's the little red arrow there. When you pull your brake on, that's moving. But this here, where it's the little red dot, when it gets to there, and that two pointers arrow and the two pointers match up, that means it's time to change your brake pads. When the two lines down there are lined up, have this so it's lined up with the front part of the brake rod, brake pulley. If you cannot see into the side to line the two notches up. That's the back brake on, all working. So that's the back brake cable on. Just hooks up to that, runs along there, runs through there, over the top of that, up there, around that side of the yokes, and up with the brake. And I've got the oil cable on as well. If you remember, something on the oil cable was bashed down, making it not work. But now if you have the throttle oil pumps working, I forgot what it was. I'm sure it was bent right down or something. It's in the other video anyway. I think that's on threaded up right anyway, because there's the throttle cable. Unless the throttle cable pulls onto there, there's a big loop there. I'll have to have a look if that's on right. But there's the choke cable, runs down there, from there, down there, down there along, down through this gap. There's the throttle cable. Putting that on, and we'll put the carb on here, which I'm just on cleaning now. And yeah, that's it for this video. Next, the forks will be done, so there'll be forks on the front wheel, back wheel's up my dad's, I'll have to go and get it. And then everything else will be done. I've not tightened nothing up.